This is ABC7 News at 7, your Suncoast News. We're here for you.
But when we open up here, there'll be people buying tickets many years before we're open and ready to come down here and watch their Braves.
You have to spend money to make money. The Atlanta Braves are now in exclusive talks with Sarasota County to move spring training to Northport. But just how much is it going to cost, and where will those funds come from? Tonight we'll show you how Florida's new lawmakers could fit into the equation and find out if taxpayers will end up flipping the bill. Good evening, everyone. I'm Alan Cohn, and welcome to ABC 7 at 7. We'll have more on Brave spring training coming up, but first, our top 7 stories at 7. And we begin tonight in Manatee County, where Mosaic is trying to expand its phosphate mining operation. The hearing before the County Commission has been anticipated for months, so after 8 hours of listening to supporters and opponents of the plan, the County Commission has voted to adjourn without making a decision. Mosaic wants to rezone 3,600 acres east of its Wingate mine to expand operations. The hearing was originally planned for September, but was delayed after a sinkhole opened up at Mosaic's Mulberry plant, leaking more than 200 million gallons of contaminated water into one of Florida's main aquifers. Some residents say it would bring an economic boost. Opponents say it is not worth the potential risk.
I felt that I needed to come in solidarity for Mosaic. They're a wonderful neighbor. They're a company that, to me, stands out for their concern for the neighborhood that they are in.
They have a right to be a business and to make money, but there are alternatives than to destroying the earth and crossing your fingers as to whether an accident, oops, may happen.
Commissioners are expected to make a decision at their next meeting, 10 a.m. on Monday at the Manatee County Commission chambers. The city of Bradenton is signing off on 2 major projects, including a new roundabout. It is planned for the intersection of 15th Street East and 9th Avenue East. A second project would add medians and pedestrian islands on 8th Avenue West from 9th Street to US 41. Construction is expected to begin early next year. Officials say the goal of both projects is to improve traffic flow and pedestrian safety. Back in August, the city of Bradenton ended its red light camera program. Now a bill to ban the cameras across Florida is making its way through the state legislature. The bill passed a House subcommittee 13-1. A recent study by the Department of Highway Safety and Motor Vehicles found crashes went up more than 10% at intersections where cameras were added.
It hasn't increased public safety, and then there's also the question of the revenue. The revenue that's going to these local jurisdictions simply are not being put into a pot that's dedicated to public safety.
A similar measure was approved by the House last year but failed to get through the Senate. The Bobby Jones Golf Course on Fruitville Road has been a mainstay for 90 years, and major improvements could be coming. The city of Sarasota is paying a consultant $115,000 to write a master plan for the course. The consultant is getting input from golfers who use the course. Right now, golf fees pay for maintenance, but the cost of improvements would have to come from somewhere else. We'll have more on how much the city could pitch in coming up tonight at 11. New developments on Florida's trade relationship with Cuba. Port Everglades is canceling plans for cooperation with Cuba. It comes on the day after Governor Rick Scott threatened to cut off funding to any port entering into an agreement with the communist nation. If legislators go along with Scott's plan, Point Everglades would lose $37 million over the next 5 years. The port says it plans to trade with Cuba despite not signing a formal agreement. They are beloved here on the Suncoast. We even have a county name for them. But 2016 was not a good year for the Florida manatee. According to Florida Fish and Wildlife, more than 500 died in our waters the last year. A record 104 were killed by boat strikes. 88 died of natural causes, 23 cold stress, and another 150 died from undetermined causes. Still, the population is on the rise, 6,200 according to a recent count, the most since 1991. Now to Venice Beach, where there is frustration with the state's policy to allow smoking in public places. City leaders want to ban smoking on at beaches and parks. They even have an ordinance banning smoking in public places, but the city has been overruled by state policy.
I wish the council could find a way to keep it no smoking like it's been.
Venice's City Council is planning to draft a new ordinance to work around state rules. And now for a look at our weather, here is Bob. Bob.
A pretty decent day today, Alan. We had some clouds at times in advance of a storm system that's going to bring us a cold front late tonight, tomorrow morning, and eventually cool us down a little bit for Friday. Today's highs were into the mid-70s, even some upper 70s well inland. Sun has set. A beautiful one there you see from the Van Wezel webcam, and a gorgeous shot. You can see those clouds on the increase a little bit there. As far as our current conditions go, well, it's 71 degrees. Dew point is at 68, and the humidity at 90%. Winds out of the south-southwest at 7. You can see just a little bit of rain falling over north-central Florida. That's associated with a weak cold front that is sliding down the state right now. It will take its time, and we have a slight chance for an evening shower. Temperatures are already starting to cool. You can see that 57 in Pensacola, Tallahassee pretty much the same, and then 75 though in Orlando and 71 in Sarasota. So but south of the front, temperatures are still pretty much in the 70s, although 69 in Lake Placid and 70 now in Wauchula, 71 in Sarasota, Venice. You're at 72. Well, no real threat of any significant rainfall this evening. There will be a few spotty showers, as I mentioned, and looks like that will push on through with little or no accumulation anticipated with this front. But the one that's going to move over the weekend is going to produce a little bit better chance for some rainfall, and will keep cool for Gasparilla, which is taking place up in Tampa. It's going to be another breezy, cool day there, so we'll get a taste of winter entering in the picture, something we really haven't seen all winter long. Just a couple of days, really, that I can remember where we had a day or two of temperatures below average, and it warmed quickly back up. Not this one.
Sometimes it's just nice to wear the jacket.
Yes, absolutely, after our summers that we go through, right?
Thanks a lot, Bob. And still to come, play ball. The Braves could be moving spring training to Northport in just 2 years, but will a state-of-the-art sports complex be waiting for them, and what could get in the way of funding the project? The story when we return.
We're losing exotic animals on a daily basis, and the ones that we have in captivity are really the ambassadors for their wild counterparts. I'm Clayton Rozier from the Big Cat Habitat and Gulf Coast Sanctuary, housing over 150 exotic animals that needed a great home. And if you love animals, please help them. Do it locally. Support your local no-kill shelters, your local wild animal sanctuaries. Make a difference where you can.
ABC7 News at 7, weeknights.
Selling your home? Insist on a 3D showcase tour from Gulf Shores Realty. Virtual tours are flat and boring and look more like a slideshow than a tour. A 3D tour from Gulf Shores Realty is like actually walking through the home without the drive. Get instant access to your next home from any device. Multiple views give homebuyers a perspective like no other. For a limited time, mention ABC7 and Gulf Shores Realty will provide a complimentary 3D tour with your new listing.
Robotic surgery is changing medicine. The robot has better vision than a human. You can see 10 times better magnification than the human eye, but it takes a human eye to run the machine. In fact, it takes multiple human eyes to treat a patient. We've perfected the team, we've perfected the procedure, and the more experienced the team, the better the quality outcome.
Get the new year off to a great start with safety and peace of mind. Subaru was named the 2016 Best Overall Brand, Most Trusted, and Best Performance Brand by Kelley Blue Book. And ALG named Subaru its top mainstream brand for residual value for 2016. Now you can lease a new Subaru Outback for just $229 a month or get 0% financing with complimentary maintenance included. Get more for your money. Go to Sunset Subaru in Sarasota.
Look, I'm not an ideologue. I am an originalist.
If you're a fan of baseball and spring training, this is Mecca. Not only does the Suncoast boast the Orioles and the Pirates, But now the Atlanta Braves, which are in exclusive talks to make Sarasota County their spring training home for the next 30 years. But will it boost the economy, and how much will it cost taxpayers? To chip in, Dwayne Lindo has our story. Dwayne.
Well, Alan, both the Braves and Sarasota County say they're confident that it will boost the economy. And better yet, they say funding for the stadium won't be on the backs of county residents.
Lakewood Ranch graduate Brad Zutica, now a member of the San Diego Padres organization, says the Braves hit a home run making the move to Sarasota County.
They're a pretty historic franchise. They got some background in the south area, so it'll be good.
Zunica now plays in the Cactus League, where average travel time is no more than 30 minutes.
They obviously want us to get to the point where we're maximizing our time on the field just to be the best that we can be.
Which is a reason the Braves say they chose Northport. Having 5 other teams within a 50-mile radius, executives from the Braves joined the Sarasota County Commission meeting Tuesday to discuss the matter.
They would be spending far more hours on buses and fewer hours on the playing fields, honing their skills.
The complex will include 750 paved parking spaces and luxury suites. In exchange, the team must commit to sign a 30-year lease with annual payments to cover the stadium's debt. West Villages agreed to donate the land and oversee the project's construction. The state will hopefully contribute $20 million from its spring training retention fund as well. The team says they're optimistic about closing this deal soon.
Based on the conversations we've had, the interaction we've had with the county, with Mattamy, with all of the constituents in our deal, we feel very confident that we're going to get this done quickly and properly and spend the next glorious 30 years here in Sarasota County.
The Braves bragged of having the 3rd highest attendance in all of spring training last year in Orlando and are confident about filling the 6,500-seat stadium in Northport for years to come.
They come to spring training in record numbers every year, and we expect that'll continue for the next 2 years, our remaining 2 years at the Disney complex. But when we open up here, there'll be people buying tickets many years before we're open and ready to come down here and watch their Braves.
Negotiations between all parties, including Northport, have been ongoing, and from the county standpoint, funding will come from tourist development dollars.
That will be primarily paid by those people who are visiting our community, staying in our local hotels. So local residents will not see any ad valorem tax increases as a part of this deal.
And at the same time, adding profit to businesses in the area.
And that's enhance the revenue in hopes that the rising tide will lift all boats. So that will be the ambition with this project.
Now the Braves hope to start hosting spring training games in Northport in 2019.
Dwayne, thank you. And coming up in the moment, we'll talk to the man who is in charge of negotiations for the county, and the member of the Tourist Development Council will take it to the trapezoid.
Is debt beating you down? You need discipline. You need
the Debt Ninja. If you owe $10,000 or more to the IRS, you could be facing wage garnishments, levies, liens, property seizure, cancellation of business license, closure of business. The Debt Ninja fights your IRS debt. That's why you need the Debt Ninja. The Debt Ninja has found the best companies in the country who are on your side to fight debt. Want to learn if you qualify for the IRS Financial Hardship Program? Stop the IRS from garnishing your wages. Even if your bank account has been seized, if you have undeclared taxes, if you have existing IRS debt, it's not too late to call, so grab your phone now. Call the Debt Ninja at 800-945-0083. That's 800-945-0083. Settle your IRS debt to get the power of the Debt Ninja. Dial this number now, 800-945-0083.
Is your old garage door stuck or broken? Would a new one give you a lift? Let Precision Door Overhead Garage Door Service of Sarasota come to the rescue with prompt and affordable repair service. Replacement doors come with an array of styles and colors, and they are rated to meet and exceed Florida standards. From estimates to installation, your satisfaction is our priority. If you're not 100% satisfied with any product, service, or installation, we will make it right, because Precision Door Service is a name you can trust.
They're coming from Tampa, Fort Myers, even Orlando. They're coming from everywhere for the Sarasota Ford Promise. Our promise means a new car you'll love. If not, return it for one you do. At Sarasota Ford, we promise live market pricing. We monitor national pricing on our entire inventory, so you get the best deal. In fact, we guarantee it. Bring us any competitor's ad, and we'll beat it by at least $1,000. That's why they're coming from everywhere to Sarasota Ford, where 41 meets 301. SarasotaFord.com.
Welcome back. The Braves are in exclusive negotiations with Sarasota County, but how did we get here? Back in February of 2015, a fan asked the Braves on their official MLB website what would happen when their contract came up at Lake Buena Vista. A beat writer for the team was there and said that there was interest in Florida's west coast around Venice. 1 year later, the public was told that talks were underway to bring the team to Northport. In December, Collier County dropped out of the running with Palm Beach failing to move forward. Sarasota became the last county standing. So where do we go from here? And joining us for more on what comes next is Jeff Malsby, Director of Business and Economic Development for the Sarasota County, and Norm Schimmel, who serves on Sarasota's Tourist Development Council. Gentlemen, and Jeff, you had that news conference with the Braves the other day. How close are we?
Well, as we all know, a deal's not a deal until it's actually done. I think we are, to use the vernacular of baseball, rounding third and heading for home. We've got a lot of work done already. There is yet work to be done, but we are cautiously confident that we can get it done in the very near future.
During the county commission the other day, I believe it was Commissioner Dietrich who questioned whether the state would come through with, I think it was $20 million that the county wants to go to this project. You don't know what you don't know in terms of what the state legislature would do. So what happens if you don't get the money or not as much as you hope?
Well, it is not that it's what what the county wants. That is what the program calls for, $20 million. It is an application process. We have been given, reasonable assurances that the funds are available. If applied for, our application will be considered, and independently of each other, the county, West Villages, and the Atlanta Braves have all been told from sources in and around Tallahassee that the funds are available and will be there for us when we apply.
Norm, rumor has it you're a baseball fan.
I like the game a little bit. Yes, I do.
And I'm a baseball fan.
Oh, I know you are.
Spring training tourism is huge in Florida. But are you able to say how much it contributes to the local economy with the Orioles and the Pirates up the road?
We had a report back this year for the first time. They did a very sophisticated report, which included recycled money, which I can explain. And the Orioles produced $81 million worth of tourism revenue. And when we say recycled money, you spend money at the stadium, somebody working there, that money then goes to buying dinner downtown, and that money goes to then buying souvenirs, and the money gets recycled. My point here about the Braves is that they will not only produce baseball for us, but places like Warm Mineral Springs, places like the Foxley Farm, which have beautiful jumping, horse jumping, the Venice Pier and everything. They will get the benefit of it.
I want to introduce another interview that we have into this roundtable tonight. It's Gil Patterson, who is the pitching coordinator for the Oakland A's, one of the best pitching coaches in Major League Baseball. He spent many years pitching and working for the New York Yankees, and he knows Florida spring training really well. Gil, part of our story that we just set up included the difficulty that some Florida teams have in terms of the travel distance it takes to get from one complex to the other. The Braves were out there in Orlando as other teams in the Orlando area are leaving. When you were with the Yankees, for instance, how difficult was it in terms of the time it took for you to get to Orlando for those games and for the Braves to come to play the Yankees and other teams around here?
Well, Alan, your son's going to find out soon when he's pitching in the Major Leagues the difficulty of spring training sometimes. But Mariano Rivera, they did not even put a road pants in his locker. Mariano did not make any road trips. However, you are right that sometimes when people go, the Jeters and some of the high-profile players, they want to make the shorter trips. But they're also responsible and respectful enough of Major League Baseball and the fans to make sure that when they do have to travel a little bit longer distance, they put people on the field to make sure that all the fans that are watching them are happy. But you're right, it does make a difference. The shorter trips are much more conducive to getting guys playing time, especially when they only might play 3 innings and they got to sit for 6 and then drive back for a longer time on the bus.
And I want to get into that more with you in the next block to compare and contrast Florida spring training to Arizona, which you go to now in your role as with the Oakland A's. We're just getting started with this conversation. We'll have more on the Braves spring training along with a check of our forecast coming up, so stay with us.
Our community has its struggles. The fact is, people have less than they did just a few years ago, and sadly, the need becomes more profound every day. Season of Sharing provides funds to help individuals and families in need, ensuring they will not end up homeless and without a roof over their heads. Together, providing a helping hand and making a difference. Season of Sharing. Give today at cfsarasota.org.
On your TV, on your computer, on your camera, on your smartphone, on your Apple Watch. And now you can get ABC7, your Suncoast News on Fire TV. Just go to mysuncoast.com and click on the mobile tab for a list of fast and free downloads that deliver ABC7, your Suncoast News on the go. Are you a food lover, restaurant goer, or home cook? Then check out My Suncoast Dining on mysuncoast.com, your guide to the foodie lifestyle. ABC7's own Chef Judy serves up her favorite recipes, cooking tips and trends, dining blogs, and helpful step-by-step videos. And you'll love the restaurant guide with direct links to your favorite Suncoast eateries. Whether you're cooking in or dining out, whet your appetite with tasty tips from Chef Judy at mysuncoast.com/dining.
Start the year off with a great deal during the Start Something New event going on now at Sunset Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram in Sarasota. Ram trucks are built tough and have plenty of power to handle any job with all the comfort you'd expect in a luxury vehicle. And right now, all 2016 quad cabs are over 20% off, with new Ram trucks starting at just $19,999. Better prices, bigger selection. Go to Sunset Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram in Sarasota.
We are going to build a great society where no man or woman are the victim of fear or poverty or hatred, where every man and woman has a chance for fulfillment and prosperity and hope.
Our discussion of the plans to get the Braves to spring training here in Northport continues in a moment, but right now let's get a check on our forecast from Chief Meteorologist Bob Harrigan. Bob.
Well, a snapshot just before the sun set this evening from Casey Key, looking really quite nice out there. Skies were cleared then, but clouds have since moved in as a result of a frontal system that is slowly sinking southward across the state. Van Wezel webcam showing that over Sarasota Bay, the clouds moving in from the northwest. Basically, those winds will eventually switch around more to a northwesterly direction, and that will start to cool us off. But that won't happen until later tonight as the front moves on through. This first front, not all that strong. The one behind it will be. Some cooler temperatures have already moved into places like Tallahassee and Pensacola, Jacksonville and Gainesville. That A front now to the south of Gainesville, a few light rain showers lingering now just with this front. There's not enough moisture out ahead of it to create any widespread rainfall with it. There will be a few passing showers late tonight, but we are not expecting any kind of accumulation. 71, still warm, and the dew point's up there at 90, I should say 68 degrees, but 90% on the humidity. Pressure 30.03 inches. Holding steady now after rising throughout the day. The high today was 76, and the 70s will be gone for a while now as a result of the cold fronts that will be moving on through. The record high 85, that was set back in 1990. The record low, pretty chilly for this time. Now, no rainfall to report today. We could use a little bit of rain. We only had about 1.5 inches. We're below average, about 3/4 of an inch. We'll get some rain on Sunday, it looks like, but not a lot of widespread heavy rain. 60 degrees in Jacksonville. It's 58 in Tallahassee, 57 in Pensacola. You can see pretty much where that front is. It's just to the north of Orlando now in our area. 77 in Miami and into the 70s here. Right along the coastline, the Gulf water temperature now at 70 degrees. Sebring at 70 and 73 in Arcadia, 73 in Punta Gorda and Northport. Well, the forecast looks like this tomorrow. We'll have highs in the mid-60s near the beaches, upper 60s inland. A mixture of sun and clouds in the morning, maybe a little bit more clearing in the afternoon as a result of the high pressure slipping in behind this first front. This is the futurecast showing the clouds around tonight with a few brief showers possible. And then tomorrow, 1 o'clock in the afternoon, we'll start to clear off a little bit. That front will sink southward. Another cold front will start to develop on a low pressure area in the Gulf of Mexico, which will be stronger, which will usher in some cooler air, and it will stick around for the next 6 days. So high temperatures will be in the mid to upper 60s over the next several days. And then the rain starts to develop with that area of low pressure. I mentioned a good chance for showers on Sunday mainly, and we are not anticipating anything rough this weekend like we saw last weekend. Well, that snowstorm over the Northeast is winding down, just some lake effect snows and some residual effects in parts of Michigan, northern Indiana, and temperatures pretty warm right now. Philly at 47, New York 46. Ottawa at 33 degrees, so not too cold really, and there's no extreme weather at this point in terms of temperatures, but that will be changing, I think, in the upcoming weeks over the northern plains especially. Temperature now 50 degrees in Atlanta, talking about Atlanta. Right now it's 50 there and 58 in Columbia, 60 in Jacksonville. Snow cover isn't all that impressive either over the central United States. Pretty quiet from Kansas all the way into Ohio. Lots of snow out west into the ski resorts. They're digging that across much of the central and northern Rockies. For boaters, it shapes up like this. Winds will be out of the north at 15 knots. Seas will be 2 to 4 feet. There'll be a moderate chop on the bays and inland waters. A little bit rough going out there. Sunrise at 7:18. High tide at 10:52 tonight. Cold front late, 60. Not too cold for a low. Tomorrow, look for cooler weather. Highs in the upper 60s. We'll have some morning clouds, a little bit of clearing in the afternoon. And the extended forecast does call for a 60% chance for showers on Sunday. And it looks like mid-60s on Tuesday, warmer by Thursday. Alan will be back talking baseball right after this.
It's Tampa's most exclusive event of the year, and you're invited. The Morgan Auto Group Charity Polo Classic is back Saturday, February 25th at DI Polo Tour in Plant City. One unforgettable day of luxury and sport with cuisine from Tampa Bay's finest restaurants. Plus, every ticket sold helps a local charity, including the Children's Cancer Center, Ryan Neese Foundation, Close to Kids, and Morgan Auto Group's Helping Hand Fund. Don't miss the Morgan Auto Group Charity Polo Classic. Visit charitypoloclassic.com for tickets and information.
For more than 100 years, American Humane Association has been teaching kids to be kind to animals. Those in our homes, on the farms, on the silver screen, and wildlife conservation, caring for the world's vanishing creatures. But we can't do it alone. Visit kindness100.org to find ways to teach kids how they can make a more caring, compassionate, and humane world for all of us.
Tomorrow at 5 on ABC7, your Suncoast News.
A type of high blood pressure that doesn't show up at the doctor's office in Health Smart.
Tomorrow at 5 on ABC7, your Suncoast News. We're here for you.
Is your mop a dirty, disgusting mess? You need the Hurricane 360 Spin Mop System, the only mop and bucket that spins the dirt away. A system that cleans practically anything and everything with super absorbent microfiber. Dip it in the washer side and the mess releases into the bucket. Then place it in the dryer side and push on the pedal. You get a clean mop pad that's practically dry and ready for more. And your hands will never again touch a dirty, disgusting mop. The heads are washable and reusable. Get the Hurricane 360 Spin Mop System for just 2 payments of $19.99. You'll also get a with Sticky Buddy, the reusable sticky roller that picks up pet hair and lint and washes clean in seconds. You can take advantage of our 2-for-1 Pick It Up special and get a second spin mop set. Just pay additional shipping and fee. And we'll upgrade you to free priority handling. So don't wait. Order now.
Call 1-800-394-1524 to get your Hurricane Spin Mop double offer. So hurry and call 1-800-394-1524. Call now.
Come out to the best party of the season, the Goodwill Mardi Gras Gala on February 28th at Michael's on E. Tickets at experiencegoodwill.org.
Welcome back. If you're just joining us, we are discussing the exclusive negotiations between Sarasota County and the Atlanta Braves to move spring training to Northport. Our guests tonight are Jeff Maltzby with Sarasota County, Norm Schimmel of the Tourist Development Council, and joining us by Skype is Gil Patterson, pitching coordinator for the Oakland A's. And Gil, I'm going to start with you because you're a veteran of both spring training in Florida and Arizona. And if you could compare and contrast how it is out there in terms of the proximity of all these major league teams and how that helps or affects the experience not only for the teams but also for the people who want to go out and watch the games.
Well, anywhere that Jeff and Norm are, that's where I would like to go. Okay? And besides, you know, the Braves also need bullpen catchers, so Jeff and Norm might be doing that as well. But, you know, I mean, I must admit, being with Oakland and the Yankees for the most part, most of my career, and Toronto and Dunedin, the weather in Arizona sometimes is a little bit drier. So even in the mornings, you don't get the dampness that we get. But you know, and I think all four of us know that a number of teams, there used to be, most of the teams used to be in Florida. And some have moved, some have joined, like the Diamondbacks and the Rockies share a complex. So there's different venues, and again, Jeff and Norm are much more educated than I am into the business side of it. But Alan, you are right. I mean, there is, if you're with Oakland and Mesa and you have to travel to Peoria, that's over an hour. So there are long trips out there as well. But as you said, I believe, and Norm and Jeff probably know exactly, and Alan, probably so do you, I think there are 15 teams in Arizona and 15 teams here in Florida. And we still have, and that's why I think is the greatest thing about Atlanta going to Sarasota for numerous reasons, and not including being a little bit closer to all the other complexes. But heck, I remember when I was with Mr. Steinbrenner and we were in Fort Lauderdale, some guys wouldn't go on road trips when we traveled from Fort Lauderdale, to play over here, to play Tampa, when Cincinnati was here. So many changes, as we all know. Some of it has to do with the travel, some finances. Right. But Alan, you're exactly right that the closer it is, the better for fans and for definitely for the players. You know,
but you've all heard the comments of people who are writing in our website or on to the newspaper that they believe that these facilities are mostly benefit the rich owners of the teams and are not year-round contributors to the local economy. A lot of those people are watching tonight. Norm, what would you say to them?
Well, immediately I would tell them to go online and take a look at Orioles Sarasota 365. And you can come to the stadium at times and see the Mayor's Feed the Hungry food, all sorts of things. They have ice shows. If you have never seen the orchestra Under the Stars with fireworks there, but more important than anything else, they're involved in so many different things like library systems. A kid can read a book and get a free ticket to a game. They're totally involved in a community, and the Pirates, who've been in Bradenton longer than any team has been in any city in Florida, are totally part of Manatee. When the Braves come in here, they will be part of our community, part of our county.
Jeff, Alan, let me add just a bit to that, if you don't mind. I would say to those folks, the application for the state funding has a requirement that year-round public use is a part of the project.
Well, that was one of two questions I wanted to ask you, because the Orioles are incredible in terms of opening their fields after spring training to youth baseball. In fact, my son has played on those fields many times. They have tryouts. Shout out to the Scorpions who do a lot of practices there. The Red Sox do the same thing down in Fort Myers. Is there any kind of expectation that the Braves will do the same thing?
Absolutely. As I just mentioned, it is a requirement in the state application, number one. Number two, the Atlanta Braves have a well-earned reputation for being positive, contributing members of the community. They are committed to doing that. They have said as much themselves, and we are welcoming them here to do some of that stuff in the southern part of our county.
Some of the concern that I have read from our residents, especially in Northport, which is less built up than, let's say, Sarasota or Bradenton or Tampa or St. Pete or Clearwater where the Phillies are, is that Northport is a smaller area, and there's concern about the kind of traffic that spring training is going to produce.
Well, those concerns, we hope to address in our efforts to enhance the features and the capacity of River Road. 41 is already there, obviously, and West Villages Boulevard is not complete yet as well. So there are some hopes and aspirations to enhance the infrastructure as a part of this project, which we hope will alleviate some of those concerns.
And Norm, in terms of marketing this, with another team here, from Fort Myers up to Tampa, I would imagine that this is something that, take this away from the Suncoast or this part of Florida, then you're in trouble.
You are, but in the same light, what you have here is a marketing gem. Atlanta coming down puts more people in the stands for the Orioles, more people for the Pirates, more people for the Yankees, because people now make tours of teams that are close together. And the marketing for all the events that take place within the scope of the county also can be enhanced too. I mentioned before Warm Mineral Springs. Everything now is going to become a lot more professional with them, and they will help both the shop owners and everything around them.
Gil, I don't want to diss our friends out in Arizona, but as an environment for spring training, do you have a favorite?
Well, I mean, quite honestly, again, I've lived here in Tampa for 15 years and Fort Lauderdale for 40, and we know sometimes the weather we get with rain. In Arizona, especially during spring training, it's drier out there. Probably in general, if you would say how many more games get lost, it might be a few more here in Florida sometimes during the spring, and a little bit wetter, or for the teams maybe not to work out as much as they could in Arizona. Everything being equal though, just like we're talking about with Norm and Jeff, is as many teams as we can stay here in Florida, I think it's going to benefit us. And just looking at some of the notes, I Googled, which my wife is going to be very surprised I can even Google anything. But, it's funny. There are so many benefits. I mean, Major League players that actually live here. And just like Jeff and Norm are saying, people who actually contribute, not only the baseball team itself and the community, but the players. And I guess overall, from maybe just being a fan and not a coach and not being involved in the game, if there are 10 things and 8 things are positive for the community, then I'm all for it. And only 2 things wrong. But if it's the opposite, if there are 8 bad things and 2 things right, just so that we can say we have the Braves here or the Yankees here for that matter, then for me it wouldn't be the same.
Right. And Jeff, this would be potentially a 30-year deal. So this is a major commitment by this franchise to be here, and it's part of the puzzle in terms of ensuring that Florida has spring training for decades to come.
Absolutely. I mean, I'm a native Floridian. I grew up in Winter Haven, and I grew up, my first...
A Detroit fan, probably.
No, not at all. I was a Red Sox fan. I grew up working in the clubhouse for the Boston Red Sox as a 10-year-old kid, probably running behind Gil in those days. But certainly the fact that this is a part of who we are. Look at the history of baseball here along the Gulf Coast. And, to enhance that with a brand like the Atlanta Braves is tremendous for us.
Quickly, before we go to break, how long do you expect it will take to get a final deal?
I am hopeful that we can have this thing wrapped up in the next 4 to 6 months.
And Norm, do you think that, the council that you're on is going to do any kind of marketing to the public to show what a benefit it is to the area?
Well, I think we contribute to people like Visit Sarasota County, who will put the word out. We will put the word out too, but there will be professional marketing on it, and it's an enhancement to the entire county.
All right, let's take a quick break, and when we return, we'll have final thoughts from our guests, plus what some of our viewers are saying about the proposal to expand phosphate mining in Manatee County.
Tomorrow on ABC7 News at 7.
I just signed 2 executive orders that will save thousands of lives, millions of jobs, and billions of dollars.
Making America great again, one stroke of the pen at a time. President Trump is taking quick action on immigration, the environment, and trade. I'm Alan Cohn. We'll have reaction to the first week in office.
Tomorrow on ABC7 News at 7. Your Suncoast News. We're here for you.
The agents at SWC would like to show you pictures of all the homes that they've sold quickly for their clients. But they're just too many to show. Contact SWC today and find out for yourself. We just market your home better.
ABC7, your Suncoast News. We're here for you, weeknights at 5.
I knew I could get myself out of this. I just needed some hope and some help.
I took the first step to recovery when I made the call.
If you're depressed, drinking, and using drugs, you may need help. And the Affordable Care Act guarantees coverage of substance abuse. Call the Addiction, Hope, and Helpline now for a free assessment.
I had problems just getting to sleep, drinking and using pills every night.
I feel like I'm losing control. I'm afraid I'll lose my job or even my family.
Are you losing hope? You can recover and get back on track. Call now for hope and help with proven, gentle recovery programs.
I never thought that I could be somebody who didn't drink and use drugs.
I have something to hold on to for strength. I'm in recovery, getting the help I need.
Call the Addiction, Hope, and Helpline now for a free assessment with someone who cares.
Call 1-800-764-8708. That's 1-800-764-8708.
Go ahead. Make a fashion statement. Demand something more than just ordinary. Capture elegance in every turn and drive with flair. Where beautiful styling is standard. Stop in and take a test drive. I'll guarantee you'll never go back to plain vanilla again. The all-new 2017 Fiat 500, starting at $14,999. Only at Sunset Fiat in Sarasota.
Welcome back. The Braves are in exclusive talks with Sarasota County to move spring training to Northport, but will there be problems securing funding, and how can the proposed complex be built in just 2 years? Our guests join us now for final thoughts. And Gil, the Braves are on a year-to-year contract out in Orlando. I would imagine for the ball players and the coaches that that adds a little bit of uncertainty in terms of, they want to know where they're going to be when they're with the team and where their families could join them.
No, Alan, I agree with you 100%. And I think for them, though, as far as everything's concerned, it's not that that's not important, but those 45 days, whether it be in Orlando or hopefully Sarasota, kind of for us, they should be able to respond to that fine. I mean, a lot of the T-shirts that players have, it's deal with it, because sometimes guys are traded from one day to the next. But I think getting to Sarasota would be tremendous for them.
And Jeff, what do you want viewers to take away from this conversation? Because this is an investment on our part.
I would like to leave this message with our viewers tonight. For a long time, we've needed a catalyst, an economic development catalyst in the southern part of our county. This is it. It has the potential to impact us like no other development project or economic development project, I should say, in that part of our county, and this is the one to get it done.
I'm going to ask you for a prediction. How soon?
I don't have a crystal ball, but if I had to say, I'm hopeful that by this summer we will have grounds being broken, and then 2019 we're on.
And Norm, just to wrap up the conversation in terms of the impact on tourism and the local economy, it's proved to you to be a winner since the Orioles have been here and the Pirates?
Pirates and the Orioles and everybody, the Red Sox and the Twins down in Fort Myers.
We're forgetting about the poor Rays.
Yeah, and the Rays down in the Port Charlotte, which is a natural thing for the Braves to play. But it's a win-win for the store owners. It does not cost the taxpayers a penny, which is more important than anything else, and it enhances the community. That's what it does.
All right, gentlemen, thank you. Before we go, we want to share with you what some of our viewers are saying about last night's topic, the proposal to expand phosphate mining in Manatee County. Mosaic made its case to county commissioners today to mine more than 3,000 acres of land at its Wingate East location. There have been protests against the plan, and neighbors at the site worried that it could affect their quality of their water. Here's what some of you are saying. David Iannotti writes, I think the phosphate industry has ravaged the land and aquifer for far too long in Florida. It is time for our leaders to make the ethical decision to protect our land and water and turn the backs on the dirty money. Colton DeCow writes, you don't know what you're talking about. Mosaic mines look ugly for a time, but the land gets restored afterwards. There are parks and preserves of land all over Florida from old mine grounds, and you don't even realize it. And Kevin Kumanga writes, a sinkhole at Mosaic's Mulberry facility dumped more than 200 million gallons of contaminated water into our major aquifer. Should we toss the dice again? Well, like to join the conversation about tonight's topic, just visit our Facebook page at facebook.com/news7. And FYI, want to watch past roundtable discussions? They're available on Apple TV, Amazon Fire, and Roku. Thanks to our guests for being here tonight. Jeff Maltzby is the Director of Business and Economic Development for Sarasota County. Norm Schimmel is on Sarasota's Tourist Development Council, and Gil Patterson is Pitching Coordinator for the Oakland A's. He joined us tonight by Skype from Tampa. And when we return, we'll have a final look at your weather. Plus, President Trump is touting his authorizations on the Keystone and Dakota pipelines at the GOP summit, as the crews are working to clean up multiple oil spills from similar pipelines. We'll have details in our primetime headlines.
At SWC Properties, we pride ourselves in providing to you the very best in customer satisfaction, and the secret's getting out. Maybe that's why so many people have chosen to list their homes with our friendly and qualified agents. After all, it only makes sense to list with a growing agency that markets in so many places. To list your home with SWC, give us a call at our office and ask for Teresa Witt.
I believe that home is where your pet is.
And that loving an animal means never giving up on them, never letting them go.
I believe that when you spay or neuter your pets, you help decrease the number of homeless animals.
Because every dog and cat deserves a place to call home.
I believe that I found my best friend at a shelter. And you can too.
We believe that together with Best Friends Animal Society,
we can bring about a time when there are no more homeless pets.
Visit ambassadors.bestfriends.org.
ABC7, My Suncoast News. We're here for you. Watch My Suncoast News wherever you are, on our live stream, on our newly redesigned MySuncoast.com, and a brand new ABC7 My Suncoast app, powered by the Eye Associates, providing sight for life, featuring traffic maps and live radar, and dining with recipes and all the hottest Suncoast restaurants. Visit MySuncoast.com and click on the mobile tab to download the ABC7 My Suncoast app for iOS and Android.
Whether a family member needs a little extra help around the house, assistance recovering from a hospital stay, or someone to check in on them throughout the week, Right at Home's in-home care is the answer. Your loved one deserves the right care, and now we need caregivers to help give the right care for the right reasons, the right way. At Right at Home, we're one of the only private home health agencies in this area with the opportunity to earn paid time off. If you're someone who loves helping people, take a look at our website and click on Jobs to join our team today.
Your primetime headlines are coming up in a moment, but first let's get a check on the weather from our chief meteorologist, Bob Harrigan. Bob.
Alan, I'll tell you, we've got a cold front headed our way, one in a series of fronts that's going to be making its way through the Suncoast. Right now, the cool air back here to the north of us behind the actual front, which is now just to the north of Tampa Bay. And you can see this is false echoes are actually military exercises. That's not real rain. This is, though, to the north. Showers are around just offshore, very spotty at best. Just a little bit of activity there. Some heavier showers, but not much Near I-75 south of Ocala, you can see the general motion is to the south just a little bit, the whole line, while the storms are moving off to the east, northeast at 10 to 15. We'll count on 1 or 2 lone showers, especially after midnight. Should not be a lot, and it should not be strong. By 11 o'clock tonight, those clouds will be increasing, but notice the temperatures still very warm, upper 60s to mid 60s. But tomorrow we are expecting temperatures to drop. This is not 92 degrees, but it is 71 in Sarasota and 73 now into Punta Gorda. 47 the dew point temperatures. This is where we look at to see where the fronts are sometimes, and lower dew points indicate the front has moved through, the clear dry air has moved in, and as far as temperatures go, they're still warm here, low 70s up and down the coast. Holmes Beach here at 70, Braden and Country Club 71, and 72 at Laurel Oak, 71 at Southgate, and the Plantation at 72 degrees. Rotunda 70, Inglewood the same, Northport you're at 73. Tomorrow looks to be okay, a low, a bit cooler, upper 60s to right around 70 degrees. We'll have some clouds around in the morning, maybe a little bit of clearing in the afternoon, although this model doesn't depict that. I think we'll see a little bit more sunshine later in the day. Those winds do switch around by midnight. They'll be coming out of the north. That's that front coming down anywhere from 10 to 15 miles an hour. Not strong, but they will usher in some slightly cooler air, and that means a little taste of winter coming our way, especially over the weekend, as yet another storm system develops to the west of us. The first front moves through and heads down to the Keys. The next one develops here in the Gulf of Mexico and brings us a good chance for some rainfall on Sunday, looks like right now. Sunday is the day that we'll see a little bit better chance for some rain. For boaters, a little bit brisk out there, moderate chop, seas running 2 to 4 feet. North winds 15 knots, and then the extended forecast is calling for more of the same. Again, we are expecting a little bit of a breeze over the weekend. It will be windy, actually. Sunrise will be at 7:18, and high tide will be at 10:52 tonight. Here's the 7-day forecast. 60s all the way through Wednesday. Rain, a good chance for it on Sunday, and staying cool through Wednesday. Back to average by Thursday. Primetime headlines back up next with Alan.
Man, he used to hang out with us.
Yeah, and then he just stopped.
I hope he's gonna be okay.
1 in 5 of us has a mental health condition, but emotional pain can be hard to spot and harder to talk about. Learn the 5 signs of emotional suffering. If you see 1 or more signs in someone you care about, reach out, connect, and offer to help.
Megan, come sit with us.
And our answers for Visit changedirection.org.
Why do I run? I think life's a journey. Every step brings me closer to my goal. I run to see the world, and when you're surrounded by so much beauty, how could it not take your breath away?
Join us at Robinson Preserve Friday, March 31st at 6:30 p.m. for our 9th annual Twilight 5K and 10K race. At one of the most beautiful scenic race courses in Florida. This race will leave you breathless.
Hi, I'm Joan London, and if you're worried about your parent or a loved one living alone like I was, and you want reliable senior care information, then call A Place for Mom, the nation's largest senior living referral service. You'll get free information on assisted living, Alzheimer's care, nursing homes, even important financial information.
They had obviously researched every place, not just given me names. They found me a place for what she could afford, and it was magnificent.
We're now very confident that she's safe, and they just helped every step of the way, and I can't thank them enough.
So if you're struggling to find reliable senior living information, call A Place for Mom. This is a free service, and you can trust them to help you.
Call right now to get your free Senior Care Compass ebook. Find out about the 5 best-kept secrets on financing senior care and assisted living.
Call now, 800-290-0352. 800-290-0352.
Start the year off with a great deal during the Start Something New event going on now at Sunset Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep Ram in Sarasota. Come shop the area's largest selection of new Jeep Wranglers. Take home a new Jeep Cherokee for as little as $18,999. Or stop by today and drive away in a brand new Jeep Renegade for just $14,999. Better prices, bigger selection. Go to Sunset Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep Ram in Sarasota today.
Now for a look at your primetime headlines. Republican lawmakers are holding a policy retreat in Philadelphia. The keynote speaker, President Donald Trump. He told Senate Republicans, no more talk. It is time for action. ABC's Elizabeth Herr has the details.
Nice to win. Do we agree? It's been a while.
after opening with its brief pat on the back for the GOP party.
The world has taken advantage of us for many years. Not going to happen anymore.
President Donald Trump again showing he means business.
Our legislative work starts with repealing and replacing Obamacare.
From healthcare to immigration to trade and claims of voter fraud.
We also need to keep the ballot box safe from illegal voting.
The president telling Republican lawmakers he is taking action and refusing to back down on the battle over the wall, maintaining the American people will not pay for the wall.
If you tax that 50%, $50 billion at 20% of imports, our country's policy is to tax exports and let imports flow freely in, which is ridiculous. But by doing it that way, we can do $10 billion a year and easily pay for the wall.
The president of Mexico and myself have agreed to cancel our planned meeting scheduled for next week.
This after the Mexican president first announced on Twitter the upcoming trip is off. GOP leaders saying while they support the president, he needs to work out his differences with foreign leaders, including British Prime Minister Theresa May, also in Philadelphia for the retreat, reiterating she is opposed to torture. That comment in response to President Trump telling ABC News in this exclusive interview he believes waterboarding works. The two leaders are set to meet in Washington tomorrow. In the meantime, White House officials confirm the president is signing off on another executive order today, calling on Congress to investigate the alleged voter fraud. Elizabeth Herr, ABC News, Philadelphia.
President Trump was applauded for his actions on the Keystone XL pipelines at today's summit. Meanwhile, protesters nationwide are objecting. Environmentalists are pointing to an oil spill that took place just yesterday in Iowa. Nearly 140,000 gallons of diesel fuel spilled into a field. Snow and wind are creating problems for cleanup crews. And in Canada, an oil pipeline has leaked more than 52,000 gallons of crude onto farmland belonging to a tribe of the First Nation. The province was also the major site of a spill 7 months ago. Pipeline opponents say these incidents are more common than people realize.
Pipelines spill at least once a day, destroying farms and ranches and polluting water supplies. Pipelines are a tremendous risk, not only to the farms and ranches, but also to the climate. And so here in the heartland, we are going to be fighting Keystone XL with everything that we have.
Despite Trump's executive orders, the Stand Rock Sioux tribe are vowing to fight the Keystone Pipeline, which would run through their lands. A follow-up on the mass shooting at Fort Lauderdale International Airport. The alleged shooter is being formally indicted. 26-year-old Esteban Santiago faces 22 charges, including 5 counts of murder. Santiago could face the death penalty if convicted. There are no terrorism-related charges, despite Santiago's claims of being inspired by ISIS. He is being held without bond and is expected to enter a plea on Monday. Meanwhile, Markeith Lloyd, the man accused of killing his pregnant ex-girlfriend and an Orlando police officer, is insisting on acting as his own lawyer. He made the decision today despite repeated warnings from the judge. Lloyd faces 2 counts of first-degree murder and other charges. And that's all the time we have for this evening. I'm Alan Cohn. Thanks for joining us. Have a great night.